I even see myself on video. Hello and welcome to the Update 34 live stream preview here on twitch.tv/DDOstream and youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. I am DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I've got a couple of guests with me today. Let me introduce, first off, content designer Knockback. How you doing?
Hello, doing good.
No stranger to live stream previews.
No stranger.
And you're the guy who largely put together the new dungeon, so that's why you're...
Yes, yeah. Tower of Frost.
Yep. Have you been on before?
I've never been on.
I didn't think so, but I know you've been on the forums, and so that's why I wanted to get you on. With me here right now, making his video debut, Kokoma Jobo.
Hello.
How's it going?
Fine.
And you do QA for the DDO team. So what's an average day like for you?
Rolling in and going through the last night's player bug submissions, looking to see if there's any major issues or something that we haven't already put in our internal stuff, our internal database, and verifying if any of them are real, making bug reports on those, and then in the afternoon shipping over to verifying that every change that the devs have made the night before is actually working the way they wanted it to.
Yeah. And you also have been on the forums, answering some questions and that sort of thing. And the reason you're here is you've done a lot of testing on Reaper, so I thought it'd be kind of nice to have you talk a little bit about that. No Sev today. He's a little on the busy side. He will be joining us on Friday on DDOcast. This Friday we've got an Ask the Devs. Got a whole group of folks doing a big Q&A there, so I don't know exactly when Patrick's going to be broadcasting that, but stay tuned on social media and we'll have all the information on that. All right. Update 34, Death or Glory.
Death or Glory.
And that name just came in last couple of weeks, last week or so.
Last week
and a half,
I think.
right? Yeah. We just sort of did a big brainstorm as a DDO group, and you guys seem to like the song titles.
Yes.
I mean, it fits with what the update's about.
Yeah, Death, Glory, there you go. All right, so, but yes, Death or Glory, Update 34. I know the big question on everyone's mind is when? Don't have an answer for that. Sorry.
We're not announcing that at this time.
Yes, so the basic idea is it could be as soon as next week, depending on how the final pieces of Update 34 come in. We have a little bit of logo work yet to do, a little bit of polish and bug fixing to do, and the big piece that's missing for us to ship Update 34, other than a few, like I said, smaller but required things, is we have the Reaper XP tree to lock down, have folks like Kokoma Jobo test and give the thumbs up on, and then we're ready to go. So it could be as soon as next week. If something happens, it may get pushed a little bit into the week after or something like that, but within the next couple of weeks here, we should have Update 34 out the door. All right, so where am I right now? I am on Flamekeep. This is a special secret development server. Is this the official QA?
Yes, this is the server that gets updated every day with last night's changes.
Yeah, and so this is the most recent version of Update 34 that is possible to preview. So, that's why there's no folks here, that's why Lamani is still not open, etc., etc. We are on Flamekeep today, and we are standing in front of Krobin Bix, who is a landlord.
Yes, Krobin has a problem. He can't collect his rent from a delinquent tenant. Just so happens, though, that this particular delinquent tenant is a wizard, and we know what kind of trouble wizards are. So he's sending you to collect for him, and this wizard has a tower. And it's not just any tower, it's a tower that is currently covered in snow, despite the fact that Stormreach is basically on the equator.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of snow in Stormreach. So, Tower of Frost, heroic level, base level 14, so 14, 15, 16. Epic is 28, 29, 30. And this is actually epic this time, not legendary. We haven't done an epic in a little while. So.
Yes.
Yeah, and see this big Reaper thing, well, we'll be talking about that in just a little bit. So we're going to go in on Epic Normal here. This is a free quest, not just free to VIP, free to everybody. So, well, if you're a free-to-play player, you can play this right off the bat. You don't need to buy anything. Again, you can find the NPC for it in the marketplace in Stormreach.
So yes, this wizard's got a very nice big tower, and you need to explore all of it in order to collect the rent. And we see people there wondering what's going on with all the snow.
You know, I should mention here, I guess clearly this is the case, but spoiler alert for our live stream previews. We try not to show, we won't be showing the ending of the quest, things like that, but we are going to show maybe the first third, something like that, of the quest here today for our live stream preview. So you have been warned. If you care, you may want to wait to watch this until a little bit later, or skip ahead, say about 20 minutes till we talk about Reaper, if you would prefer. Although that's a spoiler too, depending on how you think.
A voice booms from the
Who is that awful DM?
It's our special guest star,
Yeah.
otherwise known as Cordovan.
How did I get to be the DM for this game, for this dungeon? Well, it was really kind of a happy confluence of things. We had, the voice actors strike that is still ongoing, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Combined with, say, the transition to Standing Stone Games. And so, just kind of time-wise and making it all work out, we were just like, well, we can do this. So, since it's a free dungeon, it just seemed like kind of a good opportunity to finally let this happen. And I have to say, I'm extremely, obviously honored to be able to provide the voice work for the game. It was a lot of fun doing the voice work.
Well, it's only fitting that the voice of DDO should also get a chance to be in the game itself.
Yep. Then when I'm rich and famous, it's going to be even more amazing. So, but yes, so the only real difference is we did record that here as opposed to, say, $15 million Warner Brothers recording studio. So there is a slight, change in the sort of sound of the DM voice, but it's an honor to have been able to do it. All right, so we are in a wizard's tower. There's notes all around here. We're trying to figure out why it's snowing. What do you see as the big features of this dungeon?
So this is a salute to classic Wizard's Tower dungeons, both in pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons and in video games. People were talking about the crawling coins back there, and those are a salute to a classic video game monster. People who remember the original Wizardry game will recall.
Right, yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of stuff that you would see in a Wizard's Tower. Somebody was saying that why does this wizard have orcs? The answer is, of course, he has orcs because he needs servants. He needs somebody to boss around. What kind of wizard would he be if he didn't have someone to boss around? And if you read the notes that are scattered throughout the tower, you'll find out how he bosses them around.
I am taking a quick look at chat, just to answer a couple of quick questions here. Any update on if the Harper's Tower will be available with Update 34?
It
No,
will
that
not.
it will
No.
not. That is something that's part of the thing referenced in the last producer's letter that kind of had to get retooled. It's sort of back to the drawing board on that one there. So it'll be a little while before I think that questing hub really makes its way into the game. Other questions from chat. Let's see. Which class am I playing today? I am playing the admin class, otherwise known as the invincible class.
It also has a feature called a Smite Aura, which kills everything around you. It's very useful.
Also, this great blink where I can point the ceiling, hit a button, and boom! I just teleport right up to it.
Sometimes you get stuck in walls when
Oh
you do
no!
that.
Oops.
Yeah, this is probably not the best dungeon for that.
All right, that's fine. I'll just go back in. I'm not worried about a 20% XP hit. I have all the XP I could ever want.
So while you're making your way back, I'll talk a little bit more about the story. This particular wizard is an explorer, and he had found something called the Eye of Rizia during an expedition down to the Ever Ice in the southern part of the continent. And you were just admiring that in his exhibition hall. And it's protected by 4 wards, themed around the elements.
animated weapons. We have had animated weapons before, but I think this is a new rig, isn't it? Or a new...
I don't think we've ever done sword and shield before.
Yeah.
Those are decorative sword and shields that will come to life if you try and steal the Eye of Rizia, you naughty, naughty boy.
So clearly the Eye of Rizia being, the plane of ice, probably has something to do with what's going on here. Alright, so I'm speaking to the orc. And we're going to take care of him. It kind of occurred to me when I was running through this dungeon earlier, it's just like, these guys, they're living in the wizard's tower, presumably rent-free on behalf of doing guarding. You know, they're sitting there eating dinners and that. What do? We just go in and we're just, take them out. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing their job. Probably feeding little orc babies at home.
Oh, God.
So what we just learned is, if you want to be a monster, play this quest.
Oh, lovely. All right, so this tower has multiple floors to it, and each floor is going to offer sort of a different challenge, a different sort of thing to deal with. There will be some commonality like orcs, but each one's got its own sort of thing going on as you make your way up to the top of the tower to figure out what the heck's going on here.
Somebody is asking where this is. This does take place in Stormreach.
Yes. Oh, I better show that. That's pretty awesome. It's kind of around the corner here, isn't it?
What are you looking for?
The
freezer.
His refrigeration method.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a room which he uses as a freezer and also as a punishment method for his servants, the orcs.
Ice methods. That's one way to keep your food cool.
The temperature rises with the method skill. It's still chilly, but someone
And by doing that, you are disabling one of the wards on the Eye of Rizia.
Did we look at the orc saving throws? They were impossibly high on Epic Elite. That doesn't sound right to me.
I have been given to understand that we have looked at it, but whether actual changes have been made, I do not know.
I'm thinking it is.
I don't believe that there have been any changes to the orc setting in the last month or so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. There we go. Oh, I've got my R on. I might have messed something up here because I can't turn this. But that's all right.
This is a question that comes up a lot. People are saying, why can't I see the tower from the rest of Stormreach? If you take a look at the map that's in the game, you'll notice there's actually a lot of Stormreach you never actually, that isn't part of the house wards. And this tower is in one of those parts, much as, say,
In the
Crime Wave quests,
and
exactly.
Or
Or missing the Saltier district.
Yeah. So, it does happen that way. I think I might have screwed up this quest with my auto thing. I can't seem to... Oh no, I can get to the next floor. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, you disabled the ward.
Turn off my R just in case.
And this is where the orcs live, in the servants' quarters.
This is an example of a section that has a couple of different methods to accomplish.
Right, so, for example, if you want to, you could go into this floor and just kill all the orcs who are peacefully sleeping. But if you want to be quiet, they will stay asleep. Likewise, there are a bunch of guys in the center room. There's a way of splitting them up and dealing with half of them at a time.
Yep.
If you're clever.
I think maybe I'll just sort of go in there and fight, and then we'll call it done, because I don't want to get too spoilery on this, on sort of the upper half of this floor. Unless you think there's something in particular we should show off, maybe?
You might just go to the next floor.
Okay.
That's the storage area, so there's something right there. There's a claim ticket.
You found a claim ticket, which says it can be redeemed at some kind of storage area. Metal grinds against metal.
And part of the idea of this dungeon is that every floor is a different theme, so every floor is a little bit different. So if you go up to the next floor, it's where the wizard keeps all of his stuff in storage. So it looks like a storage area. And you got a claim ticket, which you can use on this floor, but we don't necessarily have to tell you what you get.
Magic mount. is mounted above a sealed door. The doors swing open, and a
Okay.
shiny
Alright.
brass
That's a giveaway.
Or
You get a
we
lamp. You get a lamp.
A shiny lamp, but what could you possibly be doing with that, huh? Anyway, that's something that'll be there later. So anyway, this is the free quest. It's coming in Update 34. Like I say, free to everybody. And the next section then we'll kind of move into here is Reaper difficulty. But before I do that, get out of the dungeon, just find a view. We move us back to that lens. All right, so let me get to some Q and or A.
Yeah, the oozes are in fact constructs because they aren't oozes. They're animated coins.
Yes.
That's interesting. So does it work in the monster manual? Do we have that as a construct?
Honestly, I don't know.
You have to ask Cookie Kobold.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually know that right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see.
How does the snow get inside? That's a good question. That's what you have to find out.
Yeah. Fun fact, Knockback had mentioned Everice before. The Jester of Festival claims to be from Everice.
Yeah.
Officially.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right, let me head over to YouTube, see if we have any questions there. Again, James White, thanks for being here. Uncle DOJ, Snow White Fox, appreciate everyone being here. What level is this going to be? Level 14 on Heroic, level 28 base on Epic.
We made it 28 on Epic as opposed to 30 or 31 because there just aren't that many quests at that level, and we wanted to add some.
Yeah. So because we're on Flamekeep, I'm not. I'm on a premium. The account is considered premium, right? So
Yep.
I need to go back into Tower of Frost to show Reaper because I haven't pre-flagged any of the others.
I can set you to be a VIP if you need.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
So now you get to see the magic happen.
Yeah.
The magic of cheating.
Special. The magic of cheating. Yes.
Target yourself.
Yeah.
Please be correct. Damn it. That's not correct. Hey, you're wrong about knowing what this command is.
That's all right. If we can't do it, then
Nope, don't know off the top of my head.
all right, that's fine. We'll just do Tower of Frost here again. I should have thought ahead and actually finished the quests and then done that. But so Reaper difficulty. I know some folks have seen this on Lamania. They've seen the previews. They've had seen the forum threads and that. But for those who aren't familiar with what Reaper difficulty is, it is a new tier of difficulty above Elite, and it has basically 10 subsections of skull difficulty. So the idea is to provide a scaling difficulty to challenge our most hardcore players. You've been in Reaper more than I have. How tough
Yeah.
is it?
I mean, that depends on how prepared you are for it. If you're going in first life or without having optimized your gearing, you're not going to have a very good time on even Reaper 1 skull. And if you're going in solo, you are very likely not to have a good time. In general, it is meant to be a grouping exercise, and one that is done by people who know what they're doing and are not challenged by the lower difficulties at this point. So
Yeah, this is, like I say, this is really for our hardcore folks who have been asking for a tougher challenge, and we want to give it to them. Rather than, say, just doing a one tier of Reaper, though, we created a 10 skull system to allow for a little bit more granularity. I think, how does, just out of curiosity, could you compare how, say, a 1 or 2 skull compares to Elite?
compares to Elite,
Yeah.
it should be a bump up. If you are casually going through Elite without much problem, you shouldn't have that much problem on 1 or 2 skulls with a decent party. It is a bump up because you're going to get some random mini bosses, and the champions that you're going to get are much more difficult, and you're going to get a variety of debuffs on yourself and buffs on enemies, but they'll be relatively small percentages, as opposed to as you go higher up the scale. But everything will be marginally harder on 1 and 2 skulls.
There's also some particular mechanics in Reaper that set it apart from the other difficulties in the game in 2 particular ways here that are both debuting with Update 34. You know, not only do we have Reaper debuting, we also have a new tier of champions, which I can get into in just a little bit. But Reaper difficulty will have has the possibility of having the highest tier champions in the game. In addition, it can actually spawn what are called Reapers, and I'm going to see if I can get one of those suckers
Snow drifts down from the top of the wizard's tower.
in our fight here.
And Reaper is available on not just epic quests, but also most non-epic quests, but not all.
Reaper is available on all quests that we haven't specifically set it not to be, such as Korthos. None of the Korthos quests will be available in Reaper. We have that locked, and on individual quests we will have that we find aren't an applicable challenge for Reaper, we will be locking. But anything that we don't specifically lock.
How do you enter Reaper? You have to be, if you're going to go into Reaper, it has to be within a certain level range of you, right?
You can enter Reaper at any level range. The only requirements for entering Reaper is if you have to have unlocked Elite. So you don't have to unlock Hard and then unlock Elite and then unlock Reaper. If you have Elite unlocked, you can play that quest on Reaper. And if you're a subscriber, obviously, a VIP, you can get in any quest on Reaper.
Okay, so I kind of carefully smote people to show off the champion changes. And we can talk a little bit more about the champion changes here, but we're adding some difference with champions here in Update 34, where you can kind of see a little bit more what tier they are, what they sort of do.
Yeah. Primarily, the champion changes are cosmetic. They are meant to allow you to identify what you are looking at when you see a champion. So as before, you just get a skull, a crown above their head, and they would have a random assortment of buffs, and you'd know that they were generally much harder and you should deal with them. But unless you took the time to stop and examine them and look at all their different various buffs, you wouldn't really have an idea of what they would do to you. So it was clunky. With this revamp of champions, what we've done is assigned 20 different themes. And each of these themes comes with a package of specific buffs, which you can learn. And then they're separated into 3 tiers, and as which you can tell by the different the crowns.
Yeah.
We have a small crown, a medium crown, which is right there, and then a large red crown. That'll tell you the base power level of that champion. And then the titles on the champions, if you mouse over them, will tell you what the theme is, and those come with pre-packaged types of buffs, so that you don't have to spend the time, if you know what that means, if you've spent the time previously to learn what the packages are, you can get the sense of what type of thing you're dealing with.
Yep, so this is a basic, and the way it works is on Hard, there'll be only the first tier of champion possible. On Elite, it'll be the first or second tier, and then as you can see here on Reaper, we have all 3 tiers up to and including this guy.
Yes.
Next to the Fear Reaper, which is the other big thing about Reaper mode. Let me move back to Reaper mode for a second. This is all part of a large series of adjustments we're making, but Reaper mode is different from, or Reaper difficulty is different from champions. So what is a Fear Reaper? Sometimes when you kill a mob in Reaper difficulty...
It's sometimes when a mob spawns.
Oh, a mob spawns.
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was undead. Okay.
Yeah.
A Reaper will show up. These guys are called Reapers because they're meant to kill you.
Yes. These are essentially randomized mini-bosses that will show up in any quest on Reaper. That there are a number of them, different types of them, each with a different variety of tricks to deal with you, such as the Fear Reaper, who, as you can see, is doing this little swirly thing, and if you're not in the radius of that, that applies a stacking damage over time on you, so you need to rush him and get in that circle, or you will slowly start whittling your health away.
Spicy has a question about the reward system for Reaper. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Let's see. I'm just heading back to chat. Amy Lee, save that question for our Q&A section. I can answer that later.
So Oscar, that was another choice for the update name.
Nice. Is Reaper only available on Epic Quest? We already answered that. No. Is the pit doable as Reaper? Yes.
As of this moment, yes. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
If you really hate yourself. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. People love pit, so there you go. Let's see. How does Reaper scale in terms of group size? Does it scale? My understanding is it largely doesn't, right?
We are withholding specific information on Reaper mechanics so that players can go in without expectations and learn through an exploratory process, and so that we have the ability to iterate rapidly in the future, even after it comes out, to present new challenges and have people find them unexpected. However, I will say that I don't believe we ever intend to change the fact that Reaper does not scale based on party size. If you go in solo, it's just as hard as if you go in with a full group.
Put it this way, Reaper is meant to be harder than Elite.
Yes. This answers a couple of questions. Someone said, do we still get remnants from champions? Yes. You still get them, as you can see right here. And there's one other section of Reaper difficulty that's worth mentioning. When we were planning out Reaper and doing our testing on Lamania, we found that say Melee have a distinct advantage over some of our casters in Reaper because they don't have to deal with spell points. And so we have these things called magic gems that will appear when you kill some mobs. And that gives you a small hit of spell points to help mitigate sort of the decay, the increased decay of spell points that you're going to have.
Yeah, what we found was that with the increased number of spells you would need to be casting per group of mobs, spellcasters just weren't able to move past more than 3 or 4 groups of mobs without expending a large portion of their spell points. So now we have a randomized, when you kill a mob, it might pop out a little spell point gem, which will give you a nice, small boost into your spell points to help you move along. It's not something you can rely on because it's randomized and it's not that much, but it will ease the pain and allow for some spellcasters to be less mana efficient.
Yep. It'll also, it's usable by whoever clicks on it. So, that does mean that, yes, someone can, quote, steal your magic gem.
Yes. You need to coordinate with your party as to who it's most necessary for.
Yeah.
I would suggest the healer.
Oh, really? What would make you say that? Yeah. So that's actually interesting. Have you found, in DDO we have largely had a lot of self-healing for a little while now. And your run-throughs, do you think we're going to be in a situation where dedicated healers are going to be a significant part of Reaper difficulty?
So what I found is that you can do a couple of different things. There are actually options I found. Either you can go in and with a dedicated healer and a dedicated tank, and then some clearly defined roles, and that will work. That's a very effective thing to do. Or you can run in with a full group of people who are not dedicated roles, who do the typical DPS thing, but each of them have picked up Cocoon, as an example, and will throw heals on other people, but it requires coordination at that point. So you don't necessarily need a dedicated healer, but it is a viable and just as fast method of completing as everyone runs in as their own thing, completely separate from each other.
And even if you don't have a dedicated healer, it's more efficient to heal other people.
Yes,
that's right.
Healing yourself in Reaper is very reduced, and that's something that has come up in Lamania previews. It's very obvious, and that is very specifically done to encourage people to coordinate with each other.
We had a question in chat here about how does Reaper difficulty compare today to where it was on previous Lamania previews. Again, this kind of falls into we don't want to give away everything right now, but we have been continuing to pay attention to the feedback and making some adjustments here with Reaper. One of the bigger things you're going to see, of course, when Update 34 goes live is the rewards for Reaper difficulty. So yeah, here's another champion there you can see. So why don't we talk a little bit about the rewards?
Sure.
There's a couple of different areas in which it works, both in terms of progression for Reaper difficulty, progression throughout the sort of character building process, and also a flat out loot thing as well. So why don't we talk about loot first?
Yeah, the loot stuff is the half of Reaper rewards that we've already announced. In making Reaper, we've updated every treasure table in the entire game, but Kobold is still going through all of those, to allow for mythic bonuses that you've seen in our recent content as a chaser effect that can go on any named item, which is a small stacking bonus to a few generic stats to your character that you can put one of in each slot. And you have a chance to get a mythic bonus on any named item in the game now, and this doesn't just apply to Reaper, this is in the harder normal difficulties as well. As well as a new typed bonus, which is a Reaper bonus, which works similar to Mythic, but it also stacks on top of Mythic. So basically you have two Chaser small statistical bonuses, which you can get on any named item in the game, to put into slots. These are rare, but your chances of getting these on a named item increase with the number of skulls you are doing in Reaper. So at 10 skulls, if you're running a 10 skull quest with a group of very dedicated veteran players, you'll have relatively high chances of, when you pull a named item, of it having these special extra bonuses on it. And in addition, playing on Reaper mode in general increases your chance for named items. That doesn't scale up with skull difficulty, with skull level. However, just playing on Reaper will increase your named item drop chances as well.
Cool. The other section is that you will get, I guess we're going to kind of have to decide what we're going to call it, but at the moment we're still calling it Reaper XP.
I believe
as of what, 10:45 this morning, we
the title
settled?
is currently survival points.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, I thought it was Reaper
That's
XP
subject
gives
to
you
change.
survival points, but so it's sort of an enhancement. Yeah, exactly right. Long and short of it is, it's an enhancement-like system that'll give you benefits, most of which apply in Reaper difficulty, but the cores of which can actually apply throughout the game.
So the Reaper XP tree, the survival points XP tree, because Jerry's already mentioned, I'll explain some more. It has small chaser bonuses that will provide small statistical bonuses in all difficulties for your character, which you can grind for and eventually, grab. But primarily, the most of the focus of the tree is bonuses within that only apply to questing within Reaper difficulty itself.
Right. And it'll be, things that you can work toward to help you get that 10 skull. The intention is, when we go live here, few, if any, people are going to be able to 10 skull the most difficult content in the game. Now, I'm sure people are going to kind of cherry pick a few easier quests and get it done day one. Sure. And fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. Every other time we've said, oh, you guys are never going to beat this, it was like, yep, we beat it day one.
Yes, but we're reserving the right, too.
Yes.
When we find people doing that, and we find that things aren't quite living up to where we wanted them, to update and change things with Reaper to adapt.
So, but this is a progression system that'll help get you to where you need to go. Let's see.
There's nothing in there that is something that you absolutely need, but it provides a reason for those who want to be challenged by Reaper. It provides them something to be going there for, and a reason to go for the lower actual regular character XP progression.
Right. That's the main tiers then for Reaper in terms of the rewards.
There are two halves of rewards. There are also some cosmetics involved. However, we haven't decided how those are going to be gained.
That's right. Very good point. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we do have, for the cosmetic folks out there, I know we at least have a few new creature companions.
We have some creature companions, and we also have some cosmetics that apply to the character.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm going to talk afterwards. I didn't know that. That's kind of rad. All right.
I've seen them. They exist.
Interesting. All right, so that's the big pieces of Update 34 here. We do have some bug fixes in there. To answer one question in chat, we did do some work on aggro for Update 34. I believe, right, Torque did that. So that should be something that'll be tweaked a little bit on compared to live right now. Some people right now are feel the aggro is a little wide, and then they're not wrong. So we're scaling it back a little bit and tweaking it to be more in line
The
with what we
main
want.
portion of that is we've reduced the area at which an enemy will shout for his friends to go and help him. So if I shout, someone further away in the next room hopefully won't hear me yelling for help anymore. That is the main crux of the aggro changes.
Yeah. Yamanir says, I thought it was Reaper SP, not XP, survival points. We're in the process of hammering that out right now. What you saw on Lamania was previews. There was a time where it wasn't even going to get called Reaper difficulty, and then we just kind of resettled back on it because you guys have been seeing it for a while. Let's see. A couple of questions. Will Reaper be on all quests? Most quests, but we do have the ability to turn it off as necessary, like in Korthos. We're not going to have a Korthos.
Any quest that we specify that Reaper is locked on will not be able to do Reaper.
Right.
Every other quest.
And that will happen from time to time. We'll look at a quest and say this is not a Reaper quest, and it will stop being playable on Reaper mode.
Like, I can think of an easy example in the harbor. There's the box breaking quest. We wouldn't want people, say, farming that.
However, you need to kill at least 10 enemies to gain any survival points. That is baked into the difficulty system, so that you need to it catches anything that we don't have specified. You need to have at least done some combat, which is the primary focus of what has is increased in challenge.
Right. Reaper mode is a reward for engaging in extremely difficult combat.
Yes.
There you go, Min-Max.
Although traps are also scaled up.
Yes. Or disabling very dangerous traps.
Yes.
Can we get a list of quests that will have no Reaper option for the DDO wiki? I'm sure we could probably figure that out.
If we don't have that for you when we launch, that's bad on us, because that would be terrible for you.
We'll put that in the forums or somewhere. I'll be in touch there, Shu. Are we going to fix the weapon aura for the Shining Crescent's Glamour? It's not on our agenda. It's something we could do, although I seem to recall someone in the past looking at Shining Crescents and finding it to be a little bit of a special snowflake in terms of making that work with the Mirror of Glamoring. But I could be wrong there.
No idea.
Because I know we did a pass to get a lot of those particle effects working on items that weren't, and I seem to recall at the time they were like, well, I can't get Shining Crescents working. Because it is an item that can be turned into two separate items, right? So, quarterstaff that can become two items. Let's see. Can I get a mythic bonus? Nope, not for Korthos. Oh, actually, it's a good question. Can you get a mythic bonus on Korthos gear?
Mythic bonus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On any named item in the game, except for very specific things, which I don't have a list of, that if there are certain crafting systems which will delete an item and replace it with a completely new item behind the scenes that has extra stuff on it. That would eliminate your mythic bonus, and we have tried to weed out the systems that do that and make sure that those items don't drop with mythic bonuses, because that would be a headache for us.
Yeah.
However, that is actually a much smaller amount of items than I expected originally, and so the vast majority of named items in the game will be able to have a mythic bonus now.
Now, what about old epic crafting? So if I find an epic item, like say an old named item that has a mythic bonus, and I upgrade it to epic, have we tested that to see if
that is an example of the exact system I just told you.
Yeah.
However, because of how widespread that was, all of the old heroic items that you can epify, that process will remove your mythic bonus. That there's just no way around it.
Okay. Bummer.
Yeah.
I'm just checking our chat room here. Are we concerned that certain players are already soloing Reaper 10 on Lamania? Yes and no. What's on Lamania is not a finished state of Reaper difficulty, so I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a little tougher for them afterwards. Plus, they're not going to have the benefit of the test dojo to kind of min-max things out. Are we concerned? Well, if we need to, we can up the difficulty further. We want it to be fun, we want it to be a challenge, and we're not going to be too knee-jerk on it. But if we need to, we can up it. So I guess I would want to know more what quests in particular. Are they tough quests? Are they easy quests? Et cetera, et cetera. When is this going live? Within the next couple of weeks is the goal. Let me head over to YouTube, see if we have any other questions. Actually, here we go. Will there be a Reaper Streak Bravery bonus XP? No. It scales off Elite, so it's going to be the same as Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to encourage people to feel as if they play Reaper, the only thing that they can play is Reaper, and thus not go questing with people who don't want to play that difficulty.
Yep. Does Reaper bonus apply to raids? Sure does.
Yes.
Yep.
You can play raids on Reaper.
Yeah, I'm
It's very hard.
I'm sure at level 10 Skull Heroic Abbot will be a piece of cake. I'm kidding. Yeah. Someone just knows how terrible I was in Abbot over the weekend. Let's see. Alright, I think we're caught up on chat, so let's take another couple minutes here to get your questions answered. And then we'll call it a share. Rezia is on right now, is it not? Yes, it is. We enabled that today. That was the reason we had a little bit of an extended weekly restart, is because we had to enable the Rezia Ice Games and Midwinter Festival and then check it out. But that is active right now. As soon as I get off the air here, I'm actually going to, social media that sucker out and that sort of thing. How will Reaper scale... Oh, sorry, what was that?
I was just answering a question. You can go.
Oh, okay. How will Reaper scale in Heroic? Will I be able to Reaper Skull 1 all the way to Epic levels?
Yes.
Yep.
You can play Reaper throughout your entire TR train if you want to, and are able to.
All right. What about Reaper Saga rewards? No, again, that...
There's no specific bonuses for doing an entire saga on Reaper, no.
Yeah, and again, that'll key off Elite.
Yes.
So if you're running that way. Will there be a lockout for overlevel characters? Not a lockout, but they don't get the stuff, right? Is that how it works?
There is no specific lockout. You can run Reaper completely over level if you want. However, if you are too far above level, you don't gain any survival points. Your survival points, every CR above the quest level that you are, your survival points will go down until you get to 0.
And I think that's based on bravery, right? So 2 levels, is that right?
It is not exactly based on bravery. It is like a 25% survival point reduction every CR you are over.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that.
Okay. Draculetta, ETA and the producer's letter. Yeah, we're working on it. We've written the first draft. It's been passed around a little bit, but the folks who would really need to do the work on it, like Sev, is frankly a little busy working to get update 34 out the door and a few other things here. So we, yes, producer's letter soon. I know at one point I had said perhaps by the end of the week. I am a liar. It will not be happening by the end of the week, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks as well. Hipperent says, any ET on Movember rewards where we run some quests with you? I've actually probably this week or next week I'm going to PM everyone who qualifies and start setting up a calendar for that stuff. Now that the holidays are over, update 34 is largely out the door for my purposes anyway. Things like that, so... Will a quest done in Reaper give you elite credit for the purposes of sagas? Yes.
Quests completed on Reaper will almost, in most cases, give you the same credit as doing it in Elite. Everything that isn't specifically changed for that will give you Elite credit.
Any word on the Steam wallet fix? As it is now, we cannot buy DDO points. We are working with Valve on that. So what's actually happening, we spent most of the day yesterday, some folks in the marketing team digging into that, talking with Valve, things like that, trying to figure out what's going on. So what's happening is that, in Steam, our publisher was listed as Warner Brothers, and we're transitioning to make our publisher Daybreak. And part of the process of doing that on Valve's Steam's backend is sort of they're doing account work, right? They have to pull us off Warner Brothers account, put us onto Daybreak's account. And so that, we think, is the large reason why we're having this issue right now. So hopefully in a short period of time that work will get done, and people will be able to use their Steam wallets again to buy DDO points, things like that. We will announce, though, as soon as it becomes available. And we're hoping, for obvious reasons, to have it be as soon as we can. Will Shadowfell and Matu, Menace of the Underdark, be available in the DDO store again? We would like to, but right now the store still does not support bundling, which is the process by which we would put that into the DDO store. So no time soon.
It's still available from outside the DDO store, in the Digital River store.
That's true, yes. But you can't use your Steam wallet, which is what I know some people want to do. You've been trading cards. You've been using trading cards to buy Matu, aren't you? Now, there we go. What about Friday's run? Will we get points for last Friday's run? I don't give out points on Fridays. Sorry. I can't just... I'm a pretty good turbine point fairy. I drop turbine points
They're
pretty
called
regularly.
DDO points, excuse you.
Ouch! 6 years of saying it one way, and then you all of a sudden have to say it another way, let me tell you. Yes, DDO points. So a reward for Reaper mode is... Mugs of Confusion. Yes, Cranky, the 8th Dwarf, we know we need a throwing beer mug for you. It's something that we really, really, really should do at some point here in the future. Yeah, we need an old company swear jar.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that. I think I need that, yeah. Is the Mimic Festival completely abandoned? No. The main sticking point is we want to redo the loot system for the Mimic Hunt, and that's going to take a pretty significant amount of development work, and the folks who would do that work have been busy doing things like, say, well, I guess even going back, like Legendary Green Steel, Update 34 named items, they're going to be doing a lot of itemization, things like that. So, no, it's not completely abandoned. We do want to bring it back, but we don't have an ETA at this time.
Correct.
All right. Last call out for questions. If you got any questions, give it to me now. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up the show here in just a minute. See, I like this idea of the kind of swear jar concept. We could take little pebbles, put them in, standing stones, right? Yeah.
They have monetary value? I don't understand why we would care.
Whatever. It's, at the end of the day, you can, I don't know. How is the work coming along on Dragonborn? Good. We have got folks doing Dragonborn-ish work today, as a matter of fact, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the tree is pretty much done. It's all up to art, and I've seen them in on weekends. It will be done.
Yes. We're not promising yet any specific time frame, although we would like to get it out for the anniversary. But stay tuned in terms of when it'll be released when it's ready. How's the bank update? Oh, yeah. The bank update, that should be coming in 34 as well. Is that 34?
I do not believe the change to
No,
bank
not-
is in 34.
No,
Our
okay.
engineers have been
34.
pulled to various
Okay.
more important tasks.
So it's coming still,
in the works.
but it is not going to be in update 34.
I could be completely wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right there, because it had been partially done and then they got called
Yeah.
to some other work. So yeah.
That transition has led people to do some various periphery tasks.
Yeah.
Yes, like putting the name of Standing Stone in many, 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 many places.
Are there more monk changes coming? I
do not believe there are
think
any
so.
current monk changes on the docket.
Yeah.
The anniversary quest will return.
Yes. It will return. We're probably going to do a little tweaking of it, but for the most part, it's going to be the same, and it'll be coming for the 11th anniversary, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and that's going to wrap it up for our Update 34 live stream preview here on twitch.tv/DDOstream and youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. This will be archived if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to comment with a question, we'll do our best to answer it. Otherwise, we will see you guys again soon. I'll be back on Friday. You can find our full live stream schedule 7 days a week. We have got shows on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Any final kind of words? What does the next couple of weeks look like for Kokomo Jobo in terms of work?
Well, that means the next couple of weeks for me is re-verifying almost everything in Reaper before we push it out. That is basically my next couple of weeks, and last-minute sanity checks, because every time Rob Severlin changes anything with Reaper, he changes a lot of things simultaneously.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, it's not just, check to see if it worked. It's like, well, that involves really a tree of things to check, right?
Yeah, Severlin has made a habit of making changes to the damage file. How the game calculates damage.
Well, it's fine if that doesn't work, right? Yeah. Last question, doing Vaughn 5 and 6 on Friday? Sure, why not? I can do Vaughn 5 and 6 on Friday. That'll be an Argonesson, which is my regular rotation here for the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. How about you? What's your next couple of weeks look like?
So one thing I'm looking at is refreshing the anniversary quest. If people have good ideas for little references to things that have happened in the last year that they'd like to see in the game, post them on the forums. References like the ones you saw last year. Other than that, I think my activities are misty.
Okay.
Deeply, darkly misty.
Yeah. We have said we are planning on Ravenloft, and that's going to be a big project that's going to take several days to do.
Yeah, at least 2.
Yeah. And so that's what a lot of the folks are going to be starting to turn their attention to here in the near future. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Have fun, and we'll talk to you again soon.
See you later.
Now we get to do the TV show pause while.
Yes, of course, obviously.
Now this is where